Hello everyone, this is ACHAIA Akaya, and we are in round 1 action, the round of 32 for the Wrath of the xel'naga tournament. And right now we are going to watch the BSOS versus Cloud game, and Cloud of course is playing as the Protoss. He is going to be the light blue Protoss up at the top middle base there, and then in the middle left we do have the green Zerg as BSOS. And I did want to mention Gemini is doing the commentary for the other half of these first 2 rounds, so he's going to have those games up on his YouTube channel. I'm going to post his channel link in the comments for this video, so if you want to catch the rest of the tournament action, make sure you check out his channel, because I'm only going to have half of the games up on my channel. He'll have the other half on his, and then once we get to the round of 8 and further in, we will be doing some dual commentaries on the games as well. So anyways, just wanted to mention that real quick before we got too far into the game here. But it looks like the light blue Protoss player Cloud here is going to scout the Zerg opponent immediately. So it looks like he is going to have as much intel as he needs on what exactly the build order of BSOS is here, and he is sending out a drone himself to do some scouting and see if he can figure out exactly what's going on and where his opponent is located. Cloud of course does see now that there is no fast expansion or anything, and right now we are at a 14 drone count for BSOS right now, so it looks like he is going to go for a little bit more econ build. He does have his pool going down on 14 though. We may see him put down a hatchery as well on 15 possibly. We'll have to see exactly what he decides to do. Usually if you're going to fast expand, you would do a spawning pool on 14 or 15 and then a hatch around 15 or 16. Although sometimes I've seen people reverse that order, put the hatch down first and then the spawning pool. I guess it's just a matter of taste. But anyways, going back to the base of Cloud, he does have his first gateway going up right now and getting another pylon as well. It looks like the drone trying to do a little bit of harassment there, trying to get some hit points on those probes there, but not able to take one down as another probe comes over to help him. And it looks like he is going to continue to come in here and try to knock off a few extra hit points. Wants to take out that one probe, and he finally does get it. So he's able to take down one probe very early in the game, which is going to be a slight advantage, but an advantage nonetheless. And this early in the game, every little thing counts. And it looks like we are going to see a quick cyber core here, so definitely going to see a little bit quicker tech pattern than typical. But there are going to be some stalkers and sentries on the board somewhat early, it would appear. Although we do not see a second gas here, so he may not be going too sentry heavy, because of course sentries do require 100 gas, although that second assimilator is going up right now. And it looks like BSOS continuing to send his overlord around the map to do a little bit of scouting. Meanwhile, back at the Zerg base, he has finished his spawning pool, and the speed upgrade is researching right now. The queen just coming out there right now as well, so you're going to see some spawn larvae go down on that hatchery, which is absolutely imperative in the early game for Zerg players to use that. But anyways, speedlings on against a Protoss on a map like this are extremely fun, especially if you can just sneak up past through these little cracks here, because as you can see, he's got a pylon, a gateway, and one zealot blocking the middle, but it almost looks like there's a tiny little gap in between the sides here. And even if not, there's a way that these Zerglings can easily get with this zealot here and take him out and get through there pretty quickly, especially with the speed upgrade. But anyways, with the speedling upgrade, what I typically like to do is just run straight by the front defenses and go directly for the mineral line, so you can take out as many probes as possible before the zealots get back there to defend, because zealots are just way slower than speed upgraded Zerglings in the early game. We do see a roach warren going down as well though, so we may not see too heavy on the speedling strategy right now, as it looks like he is trying to tech to roaches to go against this Protoss enemy. He does have his overlord on the right side of the map here, keeping an eye on that main base to make sure that nothing's expanding over there. And actually, I didn't even realize this, but BSOS apparently still has his drone inside, just now dying, but had his drone inside the base of Cloud this entire time, so he was able to see absolutely everything that he was doing. He knows about this fast robotics facility, he knows about the gateway, he knows about the cybernetics core, so he has absolutely all the intel that he needs right now. And if we take a look at the production overlay here, we can see that there is a Hydralisk den and a Baneling's nest going down for BSOS right now. So maybe trying to do a little bit of a Baneling bust on the front entrance here, maybe take out the Zealot and Pylon that are there. It looks like he is going to try to sneak up these Zerglings and gets a surround on the Zealot. I don't know why he isn't just running by, since as you could tell, he could sneak the Zerglings through there pretty easily. He could have gone back there and done some damage on the middle line before he was able to actually get back there and defend it. So not sure exactly why BSOS tried to actually take on the Zealot, Sentry, and Stalker that were guarding the entrance, but not able to do a whole lot of damage there. And it looks like the Queen continuing to throw the extra larva down on the on the layer here, so that he can continue to mass produce these Zerglings. And it looks like we are going to see a few Banelings coming up on the map, and a Robotics Bay coming up for the Protoss player right now, Cloud. So it looks like we are going to see some Colossi. This Colossi just absolutely so powerful against the Zerg ground army, especially if you can get a few of them together. Once that splash damage starts stacking up, it can just roast so many Zerglings, Roaches, and Hydras without much effort at all. But looking back at the Zerg player's base, he does have a couple Hydralisks popping out right now, starting to get up a few Banelings, although as you can see, Cloud does have an observer overhead, so he is going to be able to see absolutely everything going on in the Zerg player's base right now, although it looks like there is an Overseer morphing, so he may be able to get this observer out of his base relatively quickly if he can get his Hydralisk into place. And looks like the Overseer just barely finishing, and he's going to be able to focus down that observer with his Hydralisks. So once again, the Zerg player is going to be able to be somewhat stealthy. But on the production overlay, we can see that he is going with pretty much a Roach Hydra build for the time being. And right now, there's the first Colossus coming out for the Protoss player Cloud. And he does have, he has not rather started researching the extended thermal lance, which is so important for keeping your Colossi on the back lines to make sure that they're not taking the brunt of the damage from the Zerg army as you're trying to get a little bit of extra splash damage on those Zerg forces. We do see that there is a few more units warping in right now. The warp gate technology is of course finished, although only 2 gateways right now, so he's not going to have a huge amount of production capacity, but he does nonetheless have the ability. I'm sorry, excuse me, but my allergies are terrible today, so I am way stuffed up. But anyways, he does have an Immortal coming out as well. But with only 2 gateways, or 2 warp gates rather, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to continue to macro up and produce the way he needs to keep up with the Zerg player, especially with this spawn larva and the extra hatchery going up here in just a little bit. We do see there are a lot of larvae here ready to be morphed into a number of any units that he can build right now, which he has a very extensive tech tree. He can build Roaches, Hydras, Zerglings, Banelings, and it looks like he's actually got an infestation pit coming up here as well, so we may see some hive tech here, which once you get to the hive tech, the Ultralisks right now are super strong because of the patch 12 release. They gave a little bit of a buff to the Ultralisk as far as the amount of damage it does, and let me just tell you, the Ultralisks are much more powerful than they were before, and they are definitely a force to be reckoned with. Looking at the expansion for BSOS, he has actually gotten his expansion up and running now that the hatchery is finished, and it looks like Cloud does have one probe in the back behind that mineral line, so he is actually going to be aware that that expansion is finished now as he sees the creep move out to the back of that mineral line. And yeah, he could actually see that it was building there, and now some drones being transferred over there to start mining in that area. And it doesn't look like he is aware that, it doesn't look like BSOS is aware that Cloud is actually got that probe back there, so that probe going to be able to do a little bit of scouting, although nope, it looks like he did just find it. One of his drones must have spotted it as it was moving back towards the mineral line. And it looks like Cloud is going to move out with this actually somewhat formidable Protoss army. 3 Immortals and 1 Colossus. I would expect to see at least 2 Colossus though, because you really start to see the dominance of those Colossi once you get 2 or 3 of them stacking up their splash damage together. Although with the amount of Roaches and Hydras that we see in BSOS's army, that those Immortals are going to be very powerful against that. So, and it looks like we're going to see a battle here. Lots of force field going down, blocking the Hydras from being able to really effectively do a whole lot of damage. And 1 Infestor coming out right now for the Zerg player. He is going to be casting some Infested Terrans for some reason, it looks like. And we may see him do some... actually, you know what? I'm sorry. He does not have the ability to do Neural Parasite just yet, especially because he does not have enough in it. Wow, snipes that hatchery so quick. And it looks like the Zerg player, BSOS, is going to be in some serious trouble because he does not have a whole lot of units right now. And he just lost a large number of units to this Protoss army. And with how powerful these units are and how high-tech these units are, I don't think he's going to be able to catch up right now. The Queen coming out and trying to get in the mix, but the Queen gets focus fired down very quickly. I would expect BSOS to GG here very soon because there is just absolutely nothing that he can do against this Protoss army right now. So I just don't think that there's anything he's really going to be able to do to salvage this game at this point, and he does GG. So game 1 going to Cloud right now. We're going to move on to game 2. If Cloud's able to pull out another win, he will 2-0 this round and move on to the round of 16. GG.